I think it might have been just yesterday, about I was actually in New Zealand. I was climbing a mountain. I don't know if I told this story here or not. And like I had to I had ice spikes on and the ice axe to get up there, and I shot a bull tar. And as I was up there, I heard something and looked up and could see all this snow and ice flicking up in the air. And then I seen a friggin' tar, like full doing cartwheels through the air, falling off the mountain. And I had to grapple to the mountain to make sure it wasn't going to hit me. And this tar fell down the bottom. I ended up getting down the bottom. She was dead already, like she'd splattered on the rocks. But I ended up putting another two out of their miseries that had broken legs. Oh. And it's just like you hardly ever see nature slip up like that, right? You know, and it's just, but this day the sun come out, melted that top layer of snow, then it come over freezing cold, so it was just like slick ice up on the mountain. Wow. And then so they were falling off, and quite a few of them in the end. So yeah, pretty. New Zealand's like, you know, people always ask me like, what's the most scariest place to hunt, you know, and it's like fucking New Zealand. It doesn't even have scary animals.
Didn't you break your leg up there and have to get helicoptered out or something?
I actually fractured my spine. I haven't told that story. That's how long it's been. It's been bloody
really
5 years since I did a podcast. I think that was year 4 years ago. Yeah, I was on a hunt. I climbed in over a couple of days up the mountain, like started from the bottom, climbed up the top. I was chasing chamois. You know chamois? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was chasing chamois, which are like regarded as one of the hardest animals to harvest with a bow. And they're not necessarily a hard animal to stalk. They're just hard to get to. But really cool hunt, really good eating, you know, great experience. And I think I ended up killing a chamois on day 4, and the weather was rolling in really bad, and I actually climbed into a, you know, pretty horrible spot. But I was confident in doing it because I was always going to get a helicopter out. You know, like get an animal on the ground, process it, pack up camp, call in a helicopter and get the helicopter back off the mountain, because going down can be pretty risky. It always feels safer going up than actually coming down with a bunch of weight on your backpack. And I looked at the weather, had a GPS on me, which could tell me the weather, and I looked at the weather and it was coming in really bad for like the next 4 or 5 days was forecast. So I called the helicopter in a little bit early, but they're like, hey, there's a gap in the weather. We can come and pick you up right now. And I'm like, yeah, look, let's get it done. I was pretty keen to get off the mountain. I was only like camped on this tiny little spot, like a tiny little flat spot that just sort of fit the tent and like me coming out the front of it. And the back of it was just like sheer cliff for like 200 yards straight down. Yeah, it was pretty sketchy spot. But the weather was still good. I felt comfortable there. I can hear the helicopter coming in, and as the helicopter's coming in, these fucking horrible clouds just start rolling in, like at my height. And I hear the helicopter coming in, but it sounds like it's freaking below me. And I've just got my not my sleeping bag out, my mattress, because it's bright orange to flag them down in like the clouds. So I walk onto the far side of the tent, and I can just every now and then see these lights flashing, and they're like 100 yards below me, flying in the clouds. And I hear this chopper like coming in. I'm like, I thought it was gonna smash straight into the mountain. And you can see him coming in. Like, I mean, it's like sheer rock straight below me, and the helicopter's below me. And then they seen that they were about to fly into the rock wall, and then they pulled back, and then I just heard them leave, and I'm like, fuck, I'm here now for the next 4 or 5 days. What sucked was, in the panic of them saying, yeah, we're coming to pick you up now, I packed up and got super wet, like packing up in the snow. It was starting to drizzle out of them clouds. So I was already wet. My sleeping bag was wet. Everything was wet from packing up. I'm like, shit, I probably should start hiking out. And then so I looked at my GPS, and it looked at the time like it was a pretty gradual climb all the way down into this creek. Like, so there's a glacier up above me, and it's been melting for however many years, and it's carved out like a bit of a creek. And so it looked safe. And then I started climbing down, and it was the first, 2 hours wasn't too bad. Like, it was pretty gradual, like a bit of rock hopping and slippery stuff. And I had one little leap to do. It was like 2.5 meters or a meter down onto a rock to go out to this next rock. And it was like there was a big glacier pool below me. And it sounds weird, but you're calculating everything as you're going, you know. So it's like, this is the best place to jump down, because if I did fall, at least I'm landing in water. And that's just 2-second process in your head, you know, and that's happening all day. Like there's never a point that you can switch off in that country. Like you're constantly on the ball, otherwise that's when you're going to come unstuck. Anyway, what I didn't realize was the rock that I was jumping down onto had actually quite a bit of a slope to it, and it had like clear ice, a layer of clear ice on it. Oh. And you got to remember, I got this chamois in my backpack and friggin' a wet everything because I packed up in the wet, so the pack weighs a lot. And it weighs a lot anyway because you're going back for like 14 days. Man, I hit this rock and my feet come out from under me that fast that like it was just like full chest weight on the rock, bang. Started sliding off the rock backwards. So I'm on my stomach, sliding backwards, legs going first. And I slide off the back of that rock and I got a heavy backpack on. So it just pulled me. I just started plummeting down to this ice cold water. And like back neck first, straight into the water. And I just remember hitting the water. It pulled me all the way under. Like it was a good enough fall, probably 6-7 meters down into it from where the rock slid off. And it pulled me under. I just remember my breath getting sucked out of me. Like it's crystal clear, like that blue water straight off a glacier. And it ripped me down. And then sort of I struggled to come back up and get to the surface. And by the time I got to the surface, because it was flowing pretty hard, it was pushing me into one of the drainage chutes from it. And then so I hit this drainage chute, sort of scrambling, trying to grab on, and then it pulled me down legs first as well, like down into the chute, in the next lot of water. Then by the time I got to that point, there was no going back up. There was no chance I could go back up because it's dropped me into a spot where I wasn't on the sides of the bank anymore. I was stuck in this glacier melt. And then I ended up getting out of there and I got to the next point and there was like a big tree like falling down in the water. There's no trees on the side. It's just whatever's been washed down over the years, like a big stump. And I ended up wrapping my hand around that, my arm around that, get to my legs and then like wade twice as much again because now everything's, you know, full of water and soaked.
You still have the pack on?
Yeah, I still got the pack on. And then I got up on the rock then and it's just like one rock in all this water. And then it's a fucking long story, so I'll probably skip a few bits. But